Alright, I'm just making one of these videos to illustrate how people don't seem to understand where Femitheist is coming from. Now, mind you, I may do more than one of these videos because there's a lot to cover, but one of the things I wanted to illustrate is the fact that many people seem to think that because Femitheist is a blatant feminist, that somehow she is hateful toward men, even though she has never directly said anything bad about men. I have never seen her actually say men are evil, men deserve to die, etc. She gives a scientific theory on how to handle societal problems. Yes, this includes castrating men. However, she doesn't say in and of itself that somehow men make the conscious effort to do this. She is merely laying the cards out on the table and saying, this is the problem, how can we work on this problem? And that alone somehow makes her this mega evil, cartoon supervillain type shit. And they do that with everything. They do that with myself. So, you just can't win for losing. There's no pleasing people. And in reality, the things Femitheist says are not as radical as people would like to believe. Because, she's here trying to reason with you instead of, just gunning you down as you richly deserve. If I were a woman, I would probably be a very sadistic person because I would not be able to put up with the shit that normal women put up with. I would not be able to put up with the shit of having to simultaneously be a sex object and a competent human being capable of taking care of themselves and working and shit like that. As if somehow I owe it to society to be beautiful and to be nice and to be polite and charismatic and, go out there and bust my ass every day. Now mind you, men have to deal with the same thing, but to not nearly the same extent. I don't have to keep up with my appearance, obviously. And because I'm a man, nobody gives a shit. And even verbally, even though I'm a dick and I get in a lot of shit for it, typically I am more permitted to be a dick than a woman. Because for a woman, it's not so much that there's someone inhibiting them freedom-wise. There's not someone that's going to come behind them and punish them for saying the things I am. Quite the opposite. Women could get away with saying things that I probably couldn't. But the difference is they were raised to not do that. So there's a different inhibition. There is a different kind of handcuff around their wrists where subconsciously they cannot bring themselves to say these things. And in some ways that is worse. They've been conditioned to self-enslave themselves as opposed to, constantly having to threaten with punishment and negativity and things like that in order to keep people's mouths shut. So, yes, men and women's issues are different, but this is because there is an elite few, men mostly, that want those things to be different. The fact is, human beings all have the same problems. We all have to work, we're all going to die. That is the gist of our problem. And then all this other stuff we build around it is to the advantage of people that want to control us and want to subvert us, sabotage us, and take advantage of our already pre-existing objective problems of suffering and death, and then couple that with their own selfish motives. And that is primarily a male trait. Like it or not, 99.9999% of all rulers of the world, possibly other worlds, is of the male genitalia. You gotta deal with that. You have to accept the fact that penises control the world. And whether or not they use the matriarchy to try to, subvert the rest of the men that would be masters themselves were they not slaves, or however that quote is made, is besides the point. It's irrelevant, the fact that the matriarchy is why men can't afford to get married, and men can't even afford to have sex with women or else they might be accused of rape. Well, who made those laws? Who made that culture? It certainly wasn't women. Women only got the right to vote a couple of years ago. So clearly it had to be men. It always had to be men. So therefore, the feminists are onto something. And in fact, are not going far enough if they're not digging deep into that. They're not digging into that reality, that axiom, that if men control everything, then men control the bad qualities of society as well. Even the bad qualities within the opposition. That's where the term controlled opposition comes in. It's not some secret coven, rubbing their hands together in a dark room over an inverted pentagram. It's just fucking real people. It's real people that own the land, they own the resources, they have lots of money, they have lots of political power, and they've been doing this for fucking years. Since the moment they were born into riches and power. Their great-grandparents had that power, their great-grandparents had that power, and so on and so forth. Sometimes it fluctuates a little. Sometimes the power structure slightly shifts hands. But it is never of any great magnitude. And that's why shit always continues the way it is. And that's why you should deplore the likes of Alex Jones and David Icke, who have the audacity to treat you like a fucking idiot, like you don't know this shit already. Yes, maybe there are some things they are keeping hidden from us. Like the way they do use us as human guinea pigs for science. No fucking duh. Maybe I don't know the technicals of it, but I'm not that shocked that they have no care at all what they're putting in the water and shit in order to try to, figure out how exactly our genes work. If it gives us cancer or a lobotomy or whatever, too fucking bad, it's in the name of science. The axiom of, getting ahead and advancing technology is more important to them than we are. Certainly. Their own comfort is more important to them. So why wouldn't the benefit of technological advancement be more important to them? It's common fucking sense, people. It's the fact that they put us on the lowest bar possible. So they're not even thinking in terms of, I have to take over the world. They already did that. Done and over with. What they're thinking about is, how are we going to make this move forward instead of becoming stagnant, and damn the consequences. Damn who it hurts. So that's not the subplot of Lucifer. That's not the subplot of some reptilian overrace. That's simply the end result of someone that already has power and has already done all the despicable things he could possibly do to obtain and maintain that power. So now it's all about what's next. Because there's always going to be a what's next so long as you exist. And, only a handful of feminists like Femitheists get this. Only a handful of anybody gets this. And everybody takes their anger out on myself, and Femitheist, and Cult of the Old Gods, and James Evangelical 99, and shit like that. And that's all we're fucking telling you. We're telling you, don't act so surprised when this shit happens. You knew this was going to happen. There's no way you couldn't have known this was going to happen. You honestly expect us to act shocked and horrified that all this bad shit happens and that life is so terrible and blah blah blah. Why? Why are we pretending anymore? We've gone this long. We've read a history book at least once in our life. Why are we keeping up the charade? Why are we faking our way through life? It's ridiculous. It's stupid. It really is. It's stupid and it's humiliating. So, that's what I think Femitheist is trying to get at. And she sees the fact that, yes, men have always been behind the curtain. Men have always been the ones to perpetuate this since the beginning of fucking time. And it has a lot to do with their genetic material. Fact is, testosterone motivates you to act this way. In a lot of ways, it means survival. And in a lot of ways, it means murderous rampages. So, that's what she's getting at and saying if we can control the testosterone levels, maybe along the way, we can control all the negativity that happens to mankind. All the labor, malfunctions, all the murders, all the crimes, all the wars, all the pestilence, all the famines, all the poverty, all the everything. If you just get rid of the testosterone, you get rid of the motivation to act like that, to perpetuate that. Now, does this mean that she hates men? No, because men are simply the byproduct. Men are simply the symptom. They are not the problem. The problem is what we've held up as this highest regard of masculinity. We worship the ideal of masculinity, and masculinity has all these problems attached to it. So what she's saying is, you need a different God. And that's why I think, even if it was subconsciously, she calls herself the divine Femitheist, because she has rejected the male God that has been perpetuated for thousands and thousands of years. Not just the male God of Christianity or Islam or anything like that, but the idea, the very essence of male morality she is coming in conflict with. And that is something that transcends normal human, advancement. It transcends normal human thought process. Most of us don't think about that shit day to day. But a few of us do. And the few of us that do have plenty of hardships along the way. So, I guess that's part one. It's been a very long video, so see you later.